Hello traders, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Forex, and what are we going to learn today? So I took a trade on pound USD. That was around last week where I caught almost a 170 pips before the CPI news, and I had most of my students and some followers asking me how I was able to do this, because we know that the overall trend of pound USD is a downtrend, but because I caught a buy trade, everybody wanted to know how I was able to do this. So in today's lesson, that is what I'm going to explain. Stay tuned. So when you're someone who has been following me for a long time now, then you should know that anytime I'm doing an analysis, I start from the higher time frame. So what I do is I move to the monthly time frame to see what the trend is telling me. I don't really do much on the monthly time frame. All I do is to see what my trend is. So earlier this year, I know very well that pound USD is in a downtrend. So when I put my trend line here, you can see that pound USD is in a downtrend because we are having a series of lower lows and lower highs. So we have a high here, we have a low here, then we have a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high. So what are we expecting again? We are expecting price to continue moving downward. So the overall trend for this trade, this particular pair, is a downtrend. So any buy trade we are taking, it means that we are taking a counter trend. So I already have it in my mind that any buy trade I'm taking here, I'm taking what? A counter trend. Now what do I do again? I move to my weekly time frame. So let's move to the weekly time frame and see what we have over there. Now this is us on the weekly time frame, and as you can see, weekly time frame is almost the same as the monthly time frame. I don't really do much on the weekly time frame also, so you can see that we are still having a series of lower highs and lower lows and lower highs, lower lows, and I don't really do much on the weekly time frame. Most of the things I do is on the 4-hour time frame. So when I move to daily, then I move to the 4-hour. The reason why I always choose the 4-hour is because the 4-hour is not a higher time frame, and it's also not a lower time frame. It gives you a clear direction of what the market is saying. But then before we move to the 4-hour time frame, let's move to the daily time frame and also see what we have around that time frame. On the daily time frame, I started looking for my key zones. Sometimes I look for my key zones on the monthly time frame or the weekly time frame, but this one I looked for my key zones on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we have a sort of we have a sort of support around this area, and then we also have our supply zone around this area. You can see that price is reacting to that supply zone, and the reason why I took a buy on this trade is because we had this candle, this huge momentum candle breaking multiple structures. So you can see that we broke a structure here, price broke a structure around that area, price also broke a structure around this area. And now when we draw a trend line from this point to this point, you can see that this candle has broken this trend line to the upside. Now I thought how to avoid fake breakout in one of my videos, so you can check that out. So now when you look at this huge candle, you realize that the candle has broken a structure, and it is more than half, because when we measure from this side to this side, when we measure from, let me use this box rather, from here to here. So you can see that from where the trend line is to the upside, the candle that has broken to the upside from where the trend line is more than where the beginning of the candle has started from, below the trend line. So this is telling us that we are going to continue buying. Now if I'm going to continue selling because pound USD is in a downtrend, then I would have to wait for this line over here to be broken. This is another trend line at the downside. You can see that it's already giving us a pattern. When we put these two trend lines together, it's already giving us a pattern. So I'm either going to wait for this trend line to break, and then depending on the price action that will be formed around that area, I'll continue selling, or I'll wait for this this resistance zone, this support zone to break with whatever price action that will form around that area before I continue selling. Like I said, I already know pound USD is in a downtrend, and any form of buy that we are going to take on pound USD is what is a sell. So we have this reaction around this area because of this zone, and this zone is also serving as what, as a support zone. But what I am looking at is, because of the kind of candle that is printed that has left almost an imbalance behind, price is supposed to come back to this same zone and continue buying, because we have this resistance zone over here. Either price will get there and continue buying, or price will just mitigate this area, price will just mitigate this zone, which is serving as our demand zone, and continue buying. Like I said, I will only take a trade or a sell trade when price breaks with whatever price action that will be formed around this area. When price breaks this trend line or this resistance zone, this support zone, before I'll continue selling from this point. Now let's move to the 4-hour and see what happened there. Now on the 4-hour, you can clearly see our supply zone or our support, our resistance zone around this area. You can also clearly see the trend line that I drew here. Let me delete this ones. You can also clearly see the trend line that I drew here. So we have our first touch here, we had the second one here, and we have our first touch here. Let me put this here for you to get it right. We have the first touch here, we also have the second touch here, and we're waiting for price to touch the third time so that we can continue selling. I taught how to draw trend lines in one of my videos, how to properly draw trend lines. I have 2 different videos on that. You can check that out as well. So we have the first touch here, we have the second one here. We're waiting for price to touch it for the third time so that we can take a buy or a sell. So fortunately or unfortunately, on our side, we had price breaking out with a momentum candle, and the breakout is already telling me that we are buying. So after this breakout, aggressive traders can still take to this point because of this supply zone, supply zone that we have around this area. Then you can also clearly see this one over here. We have the first touch of the trend line around this area. We also have the second one around this area. So we're waiting for the third one here. Then we can take our sell trade, or we can continue taking our buy trade. And you see that price did not even get there at all. So like I said, if I am going to continue selling, I'm definitely going to wait for this trend line to break, and then whatever price action is from around that area is going to tell me to continue selling, because pound USD is already in a downtrend. Now what did I do again? After spotting all these things, I've been able to spot all this thing. Now on the 4-hour time frame, let's draw the zone nicely here. So let me put the supply zone around this area. All right, so I'm not looking at price going lower than that point. I'm not looking at price coming lower than that point. Yes, so if price come lower than that point, I'll still wait for price action around that area before I take any trade. Okay, so now let's see the reaction of price around this area, and then we can conclude on whether we are buying or selling from that point. Let's move a little faster and see the reaction of price around that point. All right, so you can see what happened around this point. Immediately price mitigated the demand zone around this area. We had a source of rejection. You can see this long pin bar, this rejection around this area, this long pin bar over here, telling us that the bulls are trying to do or to take over the market. So the next thing I did was to wait for this zone to break. This zone, this is another topic I'll be teaching in my next video. I was waiting for this current zone, this current resistance zone to break. You see this zone where the line is, I was waiting for that current resistance zone to break. This particular analysis was dropped on my Instagram page. I also dropped it on my Telegram page and even my Twitter page for my followers to see how I'll enter this trade. So when I posted, what I did was I indicated here that, and I even gave this out to my student. I indicated here and I told them that I'm only going to buy when price breaks above this current resistance zone. This is another thing I'll be teaching, okay, in my next video probably. So once price breaks above this resistance zone with a bullish candlestick, I'll buy. I'm not going to think twice because I know what I'm seeing around this area. I know the kind of price action I am seeing around this area. Okay, so now let's look at the reaction of price around that area. All right, so you can see that price has broken above this area. So once price has broken above this area, I'll buy, or I bought after the close of this candle. Let me show you something here. Immediately this candle closed, I entered my buy. So I entered a buy from this point. So I entered my buy from this point. So after I entered my buy, after the candle close, after this candle close on the 4 hour, then after taking a buy, you know, I put my stop loss. My stop loss was a little below the new resistance, the new resistance that has been formed here. This new resistance point, you can see this zone, this new resistance point. And then my first take profit was around this area, and then this is almost 1:2 risk to reward ratio. Then my second take profit was around this area. Apparently, I was looking at taking my second take profit here. I knew this is my final take profit because of this resistance zone around this area. This is not a major structure for me. This is a major structure, or this is a major zone for me. So I knew price was going to come back to that zone. So that was where I took my second take profit. Now other traders will also bring their stop loss below this point because anything can happen. You know, you can't bet on this market, we only react. Okay, so what we do is we don't predict, we only react to whatever the market is or whatever price is telling us. So this is where I took my second take profit, which is almost 180 pips. I closed around 170 pips, which was also given to my signal page and also my major Telegram channel. So now let's look at the reaction of price around this area. This is very simple to understand. So you see what happened. You see that we had price moving up and even breaking around the zone. So after I took my take profit, this candle, there was news on CPI, yeah, and then after I have taken my take profit, the CPI news pushed price further up to this point. All right, so this is how I caught almost a 170 pips on pound USD last week. So imagine using a standard lot, a one lot size on this, on 170 pips with 5 positions on 10 positions. That is a lot of money, right? That is this, by the way. Thank you for following me on this episode. Expect more episodes like this, and if you love this, kindly leave a comment in the comment section, hit the thumbs up button, and also hit on the subscribe. I have a lot of things for this channel. Thank you once again, and peace out. I love you all. Bye.